Hello there, I'm Pocket Game. Today I'm going to be showing off and showing you how to build Jade for nuking. Posted a short and y'all seem interested in my Jade nuke guide, so I shall deliver what I shall give. The build isn't 100% finished, so you will not see 100% results. There is different ways you can play this. I'll probably do different videos on different builds. Like Mesa, I'm planning on doing another video for if y'all want to see that. Just depends. But let's get to the build. First things first, I'm gonna make this very clear. Jade is a very weak Warframe. You're not gonna need a whole lot of survivability, but you're gonna need survivability. So for your two auras, I would recommend running Physique and Dreamer's Bond. Dreamer's Bond for health regen and energy regen, because energy will be a problem. And health for just health. Arcane to energize, hot shot for the extra weapon critical chance. Energize is not needed. You can run Universal Fallout for that if you're running out of health too quickly. I did test this on Still Path alone. As long as you stay in the air, you should be fine. Supposedly, as from what I've gotten from this. Run Aviator for more damage reduction on Airborne. You can also run Boreal's Hatred if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it because you want to run Jade's Augment, which this will be a fundamental part of the build, but we'll go over that in a second. The reason why this build is built like this is for Light's Judgment, so you have a ton of range on Light's Judgment, and so as many enemies can be marked as possible, so you can nuke more enemies. You want Jade's Judgment because it does damage over time, doing basically a Jade's Light, proccing more heat over time, which is really useful, and do damage. I don't know how this scales. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen, it scales with ability strength or just scales with difficulty. I don't know yet, but I would recommend running this. If you don't want to run this, it's not needed. You could run Boreal's Hatred, but if you want to do insane amount of damage for crowd control, this is needed. Archon Vitality is also needed, so you can proc more heat. I think that's the major part of the base Warframe itself. Weapon-wise, I don't think it matters if you have a Zaw run it, because if you're running a Zaw, there's a good chance you're running Exodia Contagion, which is basically the thing that allows you to throw the Zaw as a projectile. I would recommend running that, because you can be in the air more often, so you take less damage with the Aviator. So do that. Trust me, it's definitely a good buff to have. Ultimate, if you're gonna run, or if you have your ultimate, it's the only thing I would recommend. I hate this thing sometimes. Um, the only thing I majorly recommend, make sure you're using the arcane that gives you more heat, and try to get that heat stack as high as possibly can. If you can get it in max, great. If you can't, just get as high as you can, because that will buff your Jade even higher. That will allow you to do even more damage. Just try to get as high as you can. Doesn't matter what ultimate. Like I said, I personally recommend running the I forgot what it's called, the staff for Verizon, because it does damage, it strips Overguard, and it increases status vulnerability up to 100%. Basically Tau damage, but it doesn't actually do Tau damage. Meaning if you run a Tau ability, this actually scales with it, which is really useful, and because you're proccing so much heat, this just scales even better with it. Last things for last thing for last, that's so wordy, sorry, is, oh, this probably isn't the last thing, but this is the build I'm running. Magnum Force, you will get that damage and you will really not take an accuracy dip. Don't worry about that accuracy. It will not hurt you. Bullseye can be switched out for, what's it called? Gambit? I rather use Bullseye though if you want more consistent red crits. And you definitely want to use Secondary Inniverate for those red crits. You will not get red crits if you don't run this. Like, it will be really difficult to get red crits. besides that, this isn't too major of a build. You definitely want accelerated isotope for that radiation, because that will scale really good if you're running a secondary irradiate on something. Prime target vectors, just so you can get more crit damage. Magnetic and crit damage, mainly just for the crit damage. Magnetic does help with stripping shields. I think that's pretty much it. Diffusion for multi-shot. And Jade for your Archon crystals. Like I said, I don't have the build finished, but there's two ways you can do this. You can do all orange and one yellow, because you do want yellow for casting speed, period. That's just recommended. But you can run orange instead of running secondary crit chance. Do the orange one that gives you, I think, up to 50% each time you do fire. That gives you crit chance, which that would give you like 100% crit. So if you want even more consistent red crits, do that. If you're fine with only hitting so much red crit, just run 2 reds and 2 oranges. Like I said, this is also not needed. You can run 2 reds here, or you can run 2 oranges. I personally like doing a mix, doing red, orange, yellows. For the orange, you can either do double crit chance or ability damage, or double ability damage. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, it really depends. If you want more damage, run damage or both ability damage. For this build, I would recommend running crit chance and ability damage. Ability damage will really scale well with, like I said, radiation status. So if you run both 2 orange for radiations and then 2 reds or 2 oranges for crit chance, you will have the greatest time of your life with nuking. You will do insane amount of damage. Like I said, this ability isn't finished, but I think you'll get up to maybe 600,000 per hit with red crits, maybe more. Like I said, I don't have my Arcane Hotshot maxed out sadly yet. I hate that. Actually, you could use Arcane Reaper if you're struggling survivability over Energized. I would not recommend that though. I don't 100% know about that, but maybe. Exolus, if you have your Exolus and you don't mind spending the Pharma, so Aviator doesn't cost as much, like I said, run, what's it called? Boreal's Hatred for the shield capacity and ability efficiency, because you are tanking a little bit ability efficiency because of Blighting Rage. Trust me, it's worth it. Don't worry about it. Shouldn't hurt you too much. It may be annoying to run out of energy super quickly, but because of Jade's Light Augment, you will basically make up for that damage. Nautilus, Prime, whatever thing you're using to proc status you want it. Probably a companion, because you're going to be in the sky using her 4th ability a lot. So I would recommend grabbing a companion for status procking. You can see mine has Radiation Biomagnetic, and then I do have Coolant Link on him, so it gives crit chance too. And honestly, I think that's the build. I'll show you real quick what this thing does. You don't necessarily need to use Deathbringer, but I would recommend Deathbringer, Optimize, these, and Nuke. 20, 40, and I don't think I've seen red crits yet, but I don't even need red crits. But yeah, if you want to hit consistent red crits, I'd recommend running 2 oranges. If you want consistent damage, oranges. If you don't want to use the expensive orange crystals, just use reds. Simple. And I think that's pretty much the entire build for this. The one thing I would recommend being careful about is, like I said, you want to be in the air as much as you possibly can. If you are struggling with that, run Spirit of Resilience. That simple. But that's pretty much the build guide. I'm Pocket Gamer. If you want to see more builds like these that are absolutely diabolical and broken, do me a favor and subscribe. I never know. I may make another one for Jade. But I'm Pocket Gamer, and I will see you next time.